Governors and trustees set the aims and objectives for the school or group of schools where they govern, and they also set the policies and targets for achieving those aims and objectives. They'll then monitor and evaluate the progress that the school is making, and they act as a source of challenge and support to the head teacher or chief executive. So, what does that mean in practice? Well, it means that they appoint and performance manage the head teacher or chief executive, and that will include making decisions about pay. They manage budgets, they approve budgets, and decide how money is spent. They engage with pupils, staff, parents, and the school and wider community. They'll also sit on panels that make decisions about important things like pupil exclusions and staff disciplinary matters. So, what is the difference between a governor and a trustee? Well, that all depends on the type of school. And the role of governors and trustees actually is largely the same regardless, but there are some important distinctions. So, at a local authority maintained school, the accountable body in law is the governing body, and those who govern at that school are then known as governors. Whereas in an academy trust, the board of trustees is the accountable body in law for decisions about all schools within the academy trust, and that could be a multi academy trust with many schools. And those who govern on that board of trustees are known as trustees. When governing in a multi-academy trust, while that ultimate responsibility, as I've said, lies with the trust board, the board may decide to delegate some of its decisions to local academy committees, and you might hear those referred to as local governing bodies, and there might be one of those for each school within the trust. That said, all governing boards, be they a maintained governing body or an academy trust board, they all have the same functions. And those are number one, to ensure that there is a clarity of vision, ethos, and strategic direction. And secondly, to hold executive leaders to account, and that is for the educational performance of the organisation and its pupils, and also for the performance management of staff within it. Third is to oversee the financial performance of the organisation and to make sure that money is well spent within the organisation. And finally, NGA recognises that there is actually a fourth core function of governance, and that is to ensure that the voices of school stakeholders are heard. So fundamental to understanding the role of governing boards is understanding that they're strategic rather than operational. And what that means is that that day-to-day running of the school and trust remains a responsibility of the head teacher and the chief executive, because clearly they know how best to do that. And they will fulfill that role and that responsibility through implementing the strategic plan. And as we've said, that strategic plan is agreed and created by the governing board.